I grew up I was born at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, right here. I was raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina, right here. I am the son of a command sergeant major. Hardest working man I ever met. Had a moral compass like none other, just a great guy. I've never ever wanted to do anything but be a soldier. And I will tell you that when I look at why I'm in the Army today, it has nothing about serving this great nation, but everything about wanting to be just like my dad. My mom, she was the disciplinarian in the house. My mother expected excellence in the classroom every day. And I have one older sister, a very bright, brilliant young lady. Gave me great advice growing up and continues to give me great advice today. And is truly one of my best friends. But three great role models for me. I just had a great childhood. I had great friends here in town. So it's nice being here assigned back to Fort Bragg because I spend time with my Army friends, and then I also have my childhood friends here as well. I think I had 4 goals when I got out of high school. And one was I wanted a quality education. 2, I wanted to play Division I football. 3, I wanted to go to a quality ROTC program. And 4, I didn't want it to cost my parents any money. And Appalachian State offered me a 4-year football scholarship, so I absolutely took it. I fell in love with the school during the visit anyways, but it was just great to be able to go to App State. I think when I look back on my experience at Appalachian State, the real value was with the people. And though when I went up to visit the school and I'd made a decision to go to App State, it really wasn't until you get there that you get the experience of dealing with the coaches, the faculty, and well as the students, where you really get the true value of Appalachian State. I have been in the operational force, which means on the combat rotation piece, my entire time in Special Forces. And this is the first training job I've ever had. It is so complex and it's so different from any other job that I have. The mission that I have here, that we have here, is to train, educate, develop, and manage soldiers from not only the Army Special Forces, but from the civil affairs and the psychological operations. But what we also do here is we develop the leaders. You know, that adaptive leader, all the analysis that goes into that, how do you become a critical thinker, happens at the Special Warfare Center in school. It is how do we mold this guy to be a different kind of thinker. It's amazing when you put him in a combat role, the things that he looks at. And that's the kind of guy that we want. We want a guy to solve problems, be an out-of-the-box thinker, and be able to solve those complex problems, because chances are he's going to be out there all by himself. But it really isn't until you become part of the regiment that you understand that it really is about people. This is a people business. We do a lot of humanitarian work, and people don't realize that. We dig a lot of wells, we build a lot of schools, we build a lot of soccer fields, we run a lot of women's clinics. That's all under the radar. You never hear any of it. Do we have to do that? We don't have to do that, but it's just the right thing to do. But one of the things we did when I was on my last rotation as the commander of the Combined Forces Special Operations Component Command was we sponsored an orphanage in Kabul, and it was a girls' orphanage. And in Afghanistan, if you've ever been there and experienced the culture, you'll quickly realize that it is a very much male-dominated society. It's hard enough being a female. It is incredibly hard being a female without any parents. So we sponsored this girls' orphanage, great facility in the middle of Kabul, and we've got the U.S. Embassy is now involved in it, and they did some great work after I left. There are some nonprofit organizations that are helping the girls become educated. And that's what we're trying to do, because all we want to do is give them an opportunity. Because without education, they wouldn't have an opportunity. When I think back on Appalachian, you know, I'll tell you, just a great place to grow up. My daughter went there for graduate school, and my other daughter wants to go there. So it's a part of our family for sure. I was at US SOCOM, the United States Special Operations Command, at a conference in Tampa, Florida. And I was talking to my wife at a break, and she said, "Hey, you received a voicemail from Chancellor Peacock, and he said he had some really good news and that you were the Distinguished Alumni for this year." And I just chuckled to myself, and I told my wife, "Okay, thank you." And I am absolutely convinced that it's my childhood friends here in Fayetteville, and it's a prank. So I called the number back, and a lady answers, and she says, "You know, Chancellor Peacock's office." And I really thought to myself, man, these guys have really put a lot into this, because this is a really good prank. And so when Chancellor got on the phone, and you know, he told me that I had been selected, I just couldn't believe it. Because I think when you know, I look at all the alumni from Appalachian State, and I can't tell you, I'm so humbled by it that I told my family, I said, you know, being selected for this, honestly, I was prouder of being the Distinguished Alumni of Appalachian State more so than I was being selected to be a general in the Army. I mean, it was just a real thrill.